What up, good people, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Thorough, where we give you the real behind business, health, and money and self development. I almost messed that up. And introduce engaging concepts to help you elevate your performance in all areas of life. I'm your host, Cedric Lavelle, joined by my counterpart, E Double.
Yes, sir. Your boy E Double. Almost as if you ain't said it 111 other times. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man, see that's what I'm saying, bro. I know it. It's the vacation, dog.
Hey, yeah,
It's the
hey, my
vacation.
boy
You know what I'm
just
saying?
was on vacation for
You
spring
know what I'm
break and
saying?
all that
Spring
though.
break, spring break. A
But
little
but
rusty.
yeah, we back at y'all, man. Season 3, episode 111.
One,
And
one,
the
one.
title of this episode is accelerating your career for more earning potential. And I think we all could use a couple extra coins. You know what I mean? So very
Absolutely.
good episode on deck for y'all. I would say I would consider this sort of a business slash self development episode, right? And our podcast is really aimed at high performers and entrepreneurs, but we also realize most of us still work a regular job.
Absolutely.
So, it's very important from my perspective to, you know, advance and, do everything that you can to increase your earning potential while you're there. And then that should be funding your entrepreneurial
Entrepreneurial
endeavors. You know
endeavors.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, with all that said, man, y'all know how it go. Be sure to check out the kit that corresponds with this episode. Go to Look, I'm rusty too, man.
All right. All right.
keepitthorough.com/kits
Yeah. Yeah.
to check out that kit. And then, we appreciate y'all for casting with us wherever you podcast. So without further ado, let's go and kick this thing off, Sid.
Let's get to it, man. So here's the real accelerating your career, right? Accelerating your career. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? It's a marathon of taking these short-term steps to create long-term success. And what I feel um, has to be understood as it relates to your career is recognizing everything is about strategy, right? What can I do to put myself in the best possible position to elevate my career, to transform my career, and be able to reach the levels of success that I am working towards? You know what I'm saying? And what I believe is super important to know and to recognize is when it comes to your earning potential, it's not about a number. Everybody wants to reach, six figures and all these other types of things, but you have to reflect and understand and look at, you know, every role that you've embraced and every skill that you've mastered is what attributes to your earning potential. So if you wanted to see change, if you're wanting to see growth, if you wanted to elevate your career, you have to ask yourself, what skills have I mastered? You know what I'm saying? You have to think about the depth of your career. You have to understand the impact of your career. What have I done? What have I contributed to my career where I can say I've embraced this role and I've embraced this position. I've leveled up. I've garnered these skills. I've garnered this understanding of something, and now I feel like I'm in a position to elevate my career and increase my earning potential. And I like to say the word earning potential. You know, everybody, you can say I want to get a raise. I want to, get more money, so on and so forth. But I think the term earning potential um, really fits in this capacity because obviously you haven't got to that point yet. But when you think about it, you're looking at yourself from a standpoint of understanding that I have work to do. I have a responsibility to myself to put in the work, to put in the effort, to put in the time, to put in the energy where I can see my career take off. So if you wanted to accelerate your career to move towards earning potential, you want to make certain that, hey, I understand my direction and I understand the skill set that has to be garnered. And when I find all those things and when I fine tune all those things, I can make certain that I'm moving towards my future to achieve the goals that I want to achieve.
Absolutely, man. And before you start working on that plan or that process, it's very important for you to craft out a blueprint, right, on what that process is going to look like,
Yeah.
right? So, what is your blueprint for elevation? And at the heart of career acceleration is the dual engine of personal branding and professional networking. And I think it's very important to understand the distinction between the two. So, personal branding is your narrative, the story you tell the world about who you are, what you stand for, and what you bring to the table. It's about showcasing your unique blend of skills, experiences, and values in a way that resonates with your industry and then aligns with your career aspirations. Now, professional networking, on the other hand, acts as a stabilizer, supporting your career structure. Okay. So it's about building genuine connections. A very important word there, genuine connections
Yeah.
with
Genuine.
individuals who can influence your career trajectory, mentors who can guide you, peers who can help you, and leaders who can inspire you. Networking is not just about accumulating contacts, right? It's about cultivating relationships that are mutually beneficial and strategically aligned with your career goals. So, those two things are very, very important and should be a part of your blueprint for elevation. You have to focus on your personal brand. And said has mentioned this a million times, right? Like when we talk about branding, we're not just talking about corporations.
Right.
Individuals have a brand. The way people see you is a brand, right? So, and I just mentioned, personal branding is your narrative, right? You control that narrative. So, the story that you tell the world about who you are, and you do that by the way you act, by the way you behave, you respond, the way you carry yourself, the type of professionalism you exude or lack thereof. You know what I mean? Like all of those things feed into your personal branding. And then when we talk about networking, about building genuine connections, not trying to connect with folks because you know that they can help you, just for
Right.
that sole purpose and trying to use people, right? Because that's not going to get you very far. And then that's actually going to affect your personal brand. So then people aren't going to want to network with you. So two very important pieces to that elevation puzzle, right? And it's very important to understand them equally.
That's big, man. And understanding again the importance of branding is it's critical, right? Because like he was just saying, like it shares the your story to the world, and when you add to your brand as a professional, you're looking at it's like your career stats. It shows what have you done in every role. If you think about a sports team or athlete on a sports team, you look at their career stats, it shows everything that they've contributed for the teams that they've played for. You know what I'm saying? It shows how many, if you're looking at football, the tackles, the yards gained, all these types of things. If you're thinking about basketball, 3 points made, all these types of different stats, but it shows what they've done over time. When you see those things, it's reflective of what they're getting paid within their salary. Such and such is getting paid this amount of money because of the fact that every year on whatever team that they're on, they're contributing. You see the climb that they've taken over the years, from being a rookie to being a veteran, and every year they get better. You know what I'm saying? Every year they're contributing. So if you think about your career in that same aspect, every role that you're in, you want to contribute in some sort of capacity, no matter what the role is. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you want to know your skill set, you want to know the direction of your career. You want to know that what goals you're chasing, what ambitions that you have. But when you recognize and you understand those things, you start strategically putting yourself in a position where every role is contributing to what your overall goal is. If you wanted to be a director, you start doing the things that a director does. You start gathering and garnering the understanding that a director may have, and you start strategically putting yourself in that position. It's almost like, in a chess match, right? You're putting yourself in all these positions, and you're putting yourself in these roles, and you're understanding that you're placing yourself in roles that challenge you, roles that broaden your skills, and they create this platform that you can build your brand on, to where you can use it as leverage when you go into these conversations with upper leadership and upper management, to say, hey, this is what I've done, right? And so when you look at like things like your skill development, in these rapidly changing, evolving job markets, the ability to adapt and garner these skills, it's is transformative. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're becoming more of an asset. They're looking at your skill set and say, you know what, such and such would be beneficial in this role because they know how to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding how important your skill set is the first thing, and one of the primary things that you want to look at when it comes to earning potential. And then we think about things like performance excellence. How well are you performing? How consistent are you delivering exceptional results that sets a precedence for your capability and your reliability? Like, you can't go into a conversation and saying that you're wanting these things and you're not performing at an excellent level, right? Like, high performers understand, if I'm asking for something, I know that I'm putting in the work, or that I've put in the work where it backs up everything that I'm requesting. Like, I'm not going in there without any legs to stand on. And a lot of times what happens in people's career, they try to go for these roles and go for these promotions when you don't really have any legs to stand on. So you have to ask yourselves, what have I done? How have I performed? Have I exceeded the expectations of my role? And if you can honestly answer those questions, then you can go into these conversations and these negotiations and say, I've done X, Y, and Z. And not only have I done it, I've exceeded the expectations. I performed at a level that has gone far beyond what my job actually requires. You know what I'm saying? And then the next thing is just visibility. Making your achievements known, and that's another important aspect of what you're doing. Make certain that you're putting yourself in a position to where people can recognize, hey, such and such did X, Y, and Z. Like, such and such was able to contribute it, and cultivate this environment by just simply being present, being in the moment, and doing all the things that's necessary to make certain that people see that they're putting in the work, they're putting in the effort. And if you do those things, man, it pays dividends long term, because again, now you have some legs to stand on. Now you have a foundation that you've built, and then from there you can move towards increasing your earning potential.
No, absolutely, man. Very good points. Um, I want to touch on something that you said, and I'm actually going to go into it a little deeper in a second. I'm a huge proponent of doing a little extra.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, do what's required and then be willing to do a little extra. Now, there's some folks out there who just do the bare minimum. Then there's other folks out there who go balls to the wall, right? And I'm not one of them balls to the wall type people. I'm about setting proper expectations, and I want proper compensation and proper recognition for my work and my
Right.
time, right? Because believe it, they will take advantage of you.
Absolutely.
So you don't want to be taken advantage of. You want
Right.
to, show your worth, and then, if they want more and they know that you're capable, and I mean that from an already performing standpoint, not
Yeah.
somebody who's slacking and they just need you to get the job done, but they know you're getting the job done and they know you're capable of taking it to the next level. Then okay, let's talk about how I can get there and be properly compensated, and let's work on a plan to get me there, right? But I'm a proponent of a little extra, right? And one of the things that you mentioned, you know about, you mentioned that, like, kind of going a step further, right? So when you're navigating your career path toward increased earnings or increasing your earning potential, that can feel like an uphill battle filled with challenges and uncertainties. So, as an example, right, you may take on some of those additional responsibilities, expecting them to automatically lead to a salary increase. Only to realize your efforts haven't been adequately recognized or communicated to management. And I've actually been in this position before, which is why I don't go balls to the wall no more, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm very big on my time and time management, right? So if I'm gonna put extra time into something, I want to put it into myself. But anyway, so you've been putting in this extra work. You assumed it was gonna get you a raise of some sort, but the efforts didn't equate to that, right? And it could be various reasons. It's just wasn't communicated to management or whatever the case may be. So this situation can lead to frustration, and then making you feel undervalued and making it difficult to stay motivated and continue pushing forward. So it's crucial, when you're working towards that increased earning potential, to have a plan, right? And you need to develop a strategic approach to overcome some of those career challenges like I just outlined. And by setting clear measurable goals, or smart goals, right, for yourself, and then aligning them to your organization's objectives. And that's huge, right? You can't, like, create all these goals and plans for yourself on how you're going to do X, Y, and Z, but not implementing that in a way that's going to benefit the organization. Because at the end of the day, that's
Right.
why you're there. You
Exactly.
work at a job to help improve their performance, right? And help them become better. And if you don't like that reality, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's why you're there. That's why they need you there, to help improve, and show value for the business's sake, right? Like, so if you work in sales, how are we need you to sell more units. We need you to, spend less time and sell more units. If you work in customer service, we need you to provide exceptional customer service and, learn how to de-escalate situations and solve the problems of our customers. If you work in finance or whatever the case it is, whatever industry you're in, they have you there to improve their business and their efficiency and their cost, or whatever the case may be. So make sure you align your plan and your goals to those, your business's objectives. So if y'all have, you know quotas, or if you have, mission statements, which most great businesses do, or if y'all have certain, what's the word I'm looking for, certain initiatives or objectives as an organization, you know what I mean? Just make sure that you're aligning to those things.
Right.
Very, 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 very important. And then regularly document your achievements, and how they contribute to the company's success, right? So this helps you to prepare a compelling case to present during your performance reviews.
Hmm.
So if you started out the year, with these with this strategic approach and these smart goals that align to your organization's objectives, and then over the course of the year you document, some of your achievements towards these goals and the company's objectives and initiatives, then when it comes time for your review, you can articulate those things, and to be honest with you, you shouldn't be waiting until your review to articulate those things.
Right.
Throughout the course of the year, you should be articulating those things, because you should be having one-on-ones with your
I was
manager,
just want to say that you should be having
and
those conversations.
and several things like that, where you're bringing up these things that you're doing. And then you also should be asking questions. You should be asking for constructive criticism. What am I doing well? What am I not doing well? What would you like me to do more of? And all of those sorts of things. Your manager will remember you asking those things, especially if you're consistent. So then now when it's time for your review and they're sitting and they're thinking about you, well, damn, said, constantly is asking me if there's anything he can do, and I haven't really provided anything because he's actually been doing a pretty good job. And then
Right.
okay, well, said actually just did this, he just did this, he did that. Like, damn, he's doing a great job. You know what I mean? Like, so you've already set up like a positive, uh, you know, foundation in their mind already when they think about you, right? You've already created a very good personal brand. You know what I mean? That they can pull from, when it's time to review you.
Right.
So very, very important that you build that compelling case over the year and not just put it in a folder on your desk, but you articulate that, to your manager or managers or upper management, whatever the case may be. And then additionally, enhancing your negotiation skills can be invaluable, right? So understanding how to articulate your value effectively can significantly increase your chances of securing that well-deserved raise or promotion. And not everybody is good at negotiating or selling themselves, which just the reality. But if you can, practice at that, but being more confident in your abilities and success, you know what I mean? It'll go a very long way. We talked about negative self-talk before and how that's not good because it feeds your self-conscious, and then your self-conscious doesn't know if you're joking or being real,
Being
and
sick.
then
Yeah.
you cause doubts in your mind and things like that. You need to have positive self-talk and talk yourself up. You got to be your own biggest cheerleader. You got to be
Absolutely.
very confident in yourself and exude that confidence when you're talking about yourself to someone else. Don't belittle yourself, because what you may think is a joke, they may interpret as weakness, right? So be very confident, very, very confident.
That's big. And that's completely understandable when you consider your brand, right? Because everything that you say goes into your brand. And if you want to feel confident and feel valuable as you go into these conversations, again, it all goes back into the work. What efforts have you put in? What time have you put in? What things have you done? And it's not necessarily about doing more, as E was just saying. Like, I'm not about to just be going balls to the wall every time. It's not always about doing more. It's about being more. You know what I'm saying? It's about being that go-to person in your niche. The one that's recognized for pushing boundaries and continuously expanding their capabilities. It goes into, you being the individual that's trying to drive these initiatives by simply just doing your part. You know what I'm saying? By simply just committing to the process. If there's an initiative that's going on and you're excelling, you're selling everything that they're asking for. You're contributing by having excellent customer service skills. You're providing positive feedback to your counterparts. You're having these conversations with management about things that you see and things that you believe that can improve the business or improve the sales process for everybody, whatever the case may be. But just having this dialogue and these narratives created around you, that goes a long way, because now, again, like he was saying, when you go into these performance reviews and you've created this positive view or perspective about you, and the managers know it, it's like, wow, Eric has done an exceptional job. He's been a go-to person for the people that he works with, and he's been able to answer these questions by just simply doing the work, are simply going above and beyond to learn the process, learn the systems, learn the business, understand the what's and the whys behind the business, and these initiatives that come up, these challenges that we have. He can, answer these questions and be there for his people because he's taken the time to learn and to understand. And that's not about doing more. That's just about you becoming an asset in the role that you play. It's about taking pride in what you do, in the job that you have, and being willing to say, hey, I'm going to do the responsible thing and learn everything that I need to know so I can be the most effective at this role. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
believe that just goes a long way when it comes to building your brand and working towards earning potential. But in addition to those things, you know what I'm saying? Other things that you can add to your toolkit to help and improve um, your brandability, you know what I'm saying, to improve your visibility and improve your direction within your career. One thing would be is just strategizing your career moves, right? So plan your career path by focusing on roles that offer growth, learning, and visibility. By understanding your skills and experiences that are required to reach your goals, you can actively seek opportunities and align yourself with them. So that's just like I was saying earlier about being a strategist, you know, like we're playing chess. You want to understand and strategize your career, you know, so really get to the nuts and bolts of what it is that you're wanting to do, what position that you're wanting to strive and get to. And by doing that, that's going to allow you to put yourself in these roles where you're working towards that expansion and working towards that growth possibility, because you're doing these roles and showing people that you're invested in where you're wanting to go. The next thing is just building leverage with networks. So cultivating relationships with professionals within and outside your industry by participating in professional groups, attending industry events, and engaging on professional networks and platforms. That's one of those key things that you can do to elevate yourself by putting your name out there, by networking and making these connections with other people. Just in the event something doesn't go right with the job that you have and the role that you have, there may be somebody else that you can connect with that you can say, hey, you remember I had a conversation with you about X, Y, and Z and elevating my career and so on and so forth. Hey, can we have another conversation? You know, can we sit down and have a coffee, whatever the case is. And because of that relationship that you establish with that person, you know, they may have something for you that fits more into what you're wanting for your career path. So it's always good to network. Then the next thing is just committing to lifelong learning. So staying ahead of industry trends and the required skills that you need by pursuing relevant certifications, courses, and workshops. Again, you have to do the work. You have to embrace a growth mindset that views learning as a continuous journey, and that's going to allow you to elevate your career path and put yourself in a position for growth and put yourself in a position for more opportunities. And then, like we were saying earlier, right, showcasing your achievements. So developing a personal branding strategy, you know what I'm saying, highlighting your expertise, achievements, and unique value proposition, that goes a long way as well. You know what I'm saying? Share your insights and successes on professional networking platforms, certain things like LinkedIn, personal websites, or blogs. Again, when it comes to branding, you know, some people do it from a very in very small way. Some people like to go big. Some people like to get on social networks, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, you know, having a website just to say what it is that you do and just connecting with people. You know, those things go a long way as it relates to building your professional brand as a in your career, and allowing people to see what you've accomplished and how you can potentially benefit them from a professional standpoint. And then he had alluded to this earlier as well, but I'll go a little bit further into it. But seeking feedback and mentorship, right? So regularly seek feedback on your performance and career direction. Find mentors who can guide you and advise you and potentially open doors to new opportunities. So whether it's within your organization, you know, finding mentors and people who can helping further your career growth, those things go a long way. So whether it's a manager, whether it's a upper leadership, an executive that you can connect with, or whether it's somebody that's outside of your industry that you admire and that you can connect with. But getting feedback and having those mentors really gives you the blueprint and the map that you need to move yourself in a position to achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
1,000%, man. And if y'all watching a YouTube video, your boy was over here struggling while Sid was talking, man. I'm sitting here messing with my light. I got like a little V on my shape from my lighting, look like a
I like
damn
got a
X-Men
mask on.
character or something. You know what I
Oh
mean?
boy,
Yeah, right.
you over here
I ain't even
morphing.
know, I ain't even noticed that until you was talking. So yeah, your boy wasn't very strategic with his light placement, but you know, I'll get that figured out for the next time. But very
Hey,
very
he over
good
there looking like
points,
a
man.
superhero.
Man, for real, like straight up. But Very good points, man. The 5 points that Seth just gave. And, in summary, in navigating this career superhighway, right? Accelerating your career to unlock higher earning potential is a multifaceted endeavor.
Oh,
And I
for
think we
sure.
just showed or discussed all of the different facets, right?
Absolutely.
But it requires a strategic blend of skill development, performance excellence, and professional networking. And, depending on where you are in your career, you might need to lean more heavily on one of those than the other. You know,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
might be very, very skilled in performing great, but you just don't have a very good professional network. So you need to spend a little extra time there. Where you might not be very skilled, but got a very strong network, but you really can't tap into it because you can't, you can't get the job done. You can't perform yet. You need to upskill, right? But very, very important to understand the strategic blend of those three things. And then by embracing these principles, you can navigate your career path with confidence and precision, ensuring that each step you take is a leap towards greater success and satisfaction. And that's the ultimate goal, right? And then remember, the path to career acceleration and greater earning potential is not just about the destination, but the journey, just like everything else in life, right? And embrace it, own it, and make it uniquely yours. And that uniquely yours is, my path ain't gonna be the same as Sed's.
Yeah.
Sed's path ain't gonna be the same as mine. No two paths are gonna be the same. They may be similar, but they're not gonna be the same. So, make your path uniquely yours. And you got anything you want to add, Sed?
Nah, bro. What you said in the end, man, is big. Embrace it, own it, and make it uniquely yours. And, and,
Yeah.
and that's what separates you from, um,
Joe Schmo.
from yeah. You know what I'm saying? It makes you an asset, and it makes you more of a key player. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you just being a role player, which is good, now you become a key player. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
now you become that guy or that girl. You know what I
All
mean?
star or a superstar.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you on the all-star team now. Like you're one of the chosen ones, so that's big right there.
Yeah. All right, well, cool. Well, we greatly appreciate y'all as always, man. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed this episode. We'll be back at y'all next week with some more great content. And y'all know how it go, man. If you don't do nothing else,
Keep it
keep
that
it
roll.
thorough.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll holler at y'all next time. Deuces.